If you're hearing this right now, chosen one, it's no accident. Tonight, the universe has aligned its forces in your favor, and a rare blessing is about to crash into your life like a tidal wave breaking through a dam. But here's the truth they don't tell you: blessings don't arrive for the unprepared. They come for those who've been tested, broken, rebuilt, and forged in the fire of their own transformation. You've been walking through the valley, and tonight, you're about to step into the light. Let me tell you a story. In 1914, Ernest Shackleton led an expedition to Antarctica. His ship, the Endurance, became trapped in ice and was crushed. 28 men were stranded in one of the most hostile places on Earth. For months, they survived on nothing but hope, discipline, and unshakable faith. Against all odds, Shackleton led every single man to safety. Not one life was lost. Why? Because when the blessing of survival came, they were ready. They had prepared their spirits through the coldest, darkest nights. That's you right now. You know that ache in your chest when someone you trusted just walked away without explanation? When they treated you like you were disposable, like your love, your loyalty, your energy meant nothing. You remember those nights, don't you? Lying awake, replaying every conversation, wondering what you did wrong, questioning your worth. They made you feel small. They made you feel like you were too much or not enough. They whispered about you, turned others against you, and acted like you were the problem. But here's what they didn't know: the universe was removing them from your path because they weren't built for the level you're about to reach. Tonight, the blessing that strikes isn't just for you to rise. It's for them to witness it. And when they see you glowing, thriving, untouchable, protected by a divine force they can't comprehend, they'll realize they didn't leave you. They were removed. God doesn't let everyone walk beside the chosen. Some people are only meant to teach you who not to become. Let's talk about that weight you've been dragging around: the grief, the betrayal, the disappointment, the shame. You've tried to pray it away, work it away, sleep it away, but it stays, doesn't it? Like a shadow that follows you into every new beginning. You've been carrying the pain of rejection from people who were supposed to protect you. You've been carrying the scars of moments when you were humiliated, overlooked, and underestimated. And you've been wondering when it will finally stop hurting. Here's your answer tonight. Because the universe doesn't waste pain. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your future. Every betrayal you survived built armor around your spirit. Every silent battle you fought in the dark trained you for the victory you're about to experience. That pain isn't your burden anymore. It's your testimony. It's your proof that you can endure anything and still choose love, still choose faith, still choose to believe in miracles. And that's exactly why this blessing is yours. You thought you were losing, didn't you? When the doors kept closing, when the opportunities fell through, when the people you needed didn't show up, you thought maybe you were cursed, maybe you were being punished for something you couldn't even name. But here's the truth: you were being trained. God doesn't put the fragile through fire. Only the chosen ones get tested this hard. Only the ones destined for greatness have to prove they won't break when the pressure rises. You stayed faithful when it made no sense to believe. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been easier. You stayed hopeful when everyone around you was drowning in doubt. And the universe saw that. The angels recorded it. Your ancestors cheered for you from the other side. Tonight, the test is over. The blessing that's coming isn't just a reward. It's a confirmation. You are who you've always believed you were. You are protected. You are favored. You are unstoppable. There's someone right now who's sleeping peacefully, thinking they won. They think the lies they told stuck. They think the trap they set worked. They think you're still down there, broken, defeated, begging for scraps of approval. But what they don't know is that every attack they launched against you was actually a brick in the palace God is building for you. Every rumor they spread made your name known in rooms you didn't even know existed. Every door they tried to close forced you to build your own. Every time they celebrated your downfall, the universe was adding another zero to your blessing. Tonight, that energy boomerangs back. Karma doesn't forget. The universe doesn't miss. And while they were busy plotting, you were busy becoming. You were learning, growing, healing, evolving. You became someone they can't touch anymore. Not because you're bitter, but because you're untouchable now. You operate on a frequency they can't even perceive. And when this blessing hits, they'll see it, and it will haunt them. Remember when you used to pray so hard it hurt? When you used to beg the universe to send you love, send you money, send you a sign, send you relief? You were so desperate, so hungry for change that you would have accepted anything just to feel a little less alone. But somewhere along the way you stopped begging, you stopped chasing, you stopped convincing people of your worth. You started walking in silence, trusting in the unseen, believing that what's meant for you will find you without force. And that shift, chosen one, that's when everything changed. The universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to alignment. It responds to surrender. It responds to the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are already blessed, even before the evidence shows up. Tonight, all those prayers you stopped saying out loud are being answered. The love you stopped chasing is chasing you. The abundance you stopped stressing over is overflowing. The peace you thought was impossible is wrapping itself around you like a warm blanket. You didn't give up. You leveled up. Do you realize what you've done? You broke generational curses that have been choking your bloodline for decades. You refused to repeat the patterns of trauma, fear, and scarcity that were handed down to you like heirlooms. You looked at the cycle and said, "Not me, not anymore." You chose healing over hatred. You chose faith over fear. You chose forgiveness over revenge. And that decision, that one sacred decision, changed everything. Your ancestors are watching from the other side, and they are proud. They tried to break free and couldn't. They carried the weight so you could one day put it down. And you did. You honored their struggle by becoming everything they couldn't be. Tonight's blessing isn't just for you. It's for everyone who came before you, and everyone who will come after you. You are the turning point. You are the breakthrough. You are the answer to prayers spoken in languages you've never heard. And the universe is rewarding you for your courage. You've been in a season of silence, haven't you? No phone calls, no invitations, no recognition, no applause. Just you, your thoughts, and the eerie quiet of a life that feels like it's on pause. People stopped checking on you. Opportunities dried up. Your inbox went cold. And you started wondering if you'd been forgotten, if maybe you missed your chance, if perhaps you said or did something that made the universe turn its back on you. But let me tell you what was really happening. God was hiding you. The universe was pulling you out of circulation because where you're going, you can't take everyone. The silence wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were being recalibrated, rewired, and rebuilt in the secret place where miracles are manufactured. While everyone else was posting, performing, and pretending, you were being transformed in the darkness. And tonight, when this blessing strikes, you'll understand why you had to disappear for a while. You'll see that the silence was sacred. It was the cocoon before the butterfly. It was the pause before the explosion. There's a version of you that used to apologize for existing. A version that shrank herself to make others comfortable. A version that tolerated disrespect because you were afraid of being alone, afraid of conflict, afraid that speaking up would make you the villain. That version of you would accept breadcrumbs and call it a feast. She would let people drain her energy and still apologize for not giving more. She would let people cross her boundaries and then blame herself for having boundaries in the first place. But something happened, didn't it? Something inside you snapped. Maybe it was one betrayal too many. Maybe it was one broken promise that finally broke you open. Whatever it was, it killed that old version of you. And good. Let her rest in peace. Because the you that exists now doesn't beg for respect. You command it. You don't chase energy vampires. You repel them. You don't explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You just walk away. And tonight's blessing is specifically designed for this version of you. The one who knows her worth. The one who walks in power. The one who can't be manipulated anymore. Let's talk about those nights. The ones where you cried so hard you couldn't breathe. The ones where you muffled your sobs with a pillow because you didn't want anyone to hear you breaking. The ones where you begged God to just make it stop, to just take the pain away, to just let you feel normal for one single day. Nobody saw those nights. Nobody witnessed the way you held yourself together with prayer and sheer willpower. Nobody counted the tears or measured the weight of your heartbreak. But the universe did. Every single tear was collected. Every single prayer was recorded. And tonight, chosen one, you're about to receive your compensation. Not just financially, though money is coming. Not just relationally, though genuine love is coming. But spiritually, you're about to feel a peace so deep it'll make you wonder why you ever worried. You're about to experience a joy so complete it'll erase the memory of those nights. You're about to step into a season where your laughter is louder than your tears ever were. The universe pays its debts, and you're about to be paid in full. You've been doing this alone for so long you forgot what real support feels like. You got so used to being the strong one, the provider, the healer, the teacher, that you stopped believing anyone would ever show up for you the way you show up for others. You convinced yourself that loyalty was a myth, that real love was reserved for other people, that maybe you were just meant to walk this path solo. But that's not true. The truth is, God was protecting you from the wrong tribe so the right one could find you. Tonight, the people who are aligned with your purpose, your frequency, your mission are being divinely guided to your door. These aren't surface-level connections. These are soul contract. These are people who will see you, honor you, protect you, and celebrate you without jealousy or hidden agendas. These are your spiritual family, and they've been looking for you just as hard as you've been looking for them. Some will be old souls returning. Some will be new faces with ancient energy. But all of them are coming because you're finally ready to be seen for who you really are. Not who you had to be to survive, but who you were born to be. Think about the generations that will come after you. Your children, your grandchildren, the ones who will carry your name and your DNA into the future. They're going to tell stories about you. They're going to talk about the night when everything shifted, when the curse broke, when the blessing landed, when your life went from struggle to overflow. They'll study your decisions. They'll marvel at your faith. They'll wonder how you kept going when everything around you was falling apart. And you'll tell them the truth. You didn't do it alone. You had God, you had the universe, you had ancestors whispering strategies in your dreams. You had a knowing deep in your bones that you were built for this. Tonight isn't just about you getting your breakthrough. It's about your entire lineage getting free. The poverty mindset ends with you. The trauma cycle ends with you. The pattern of settling for less ends with you. And the abundance, the peace, the power that's about to flood your life will ripple through your bloodline for generations. You're not just living for yourself anymore. You're the turning point. You're the miracle they'll talk about for 100 years. There was a moment recently where you almost gave up, wasn't there? Where the doubt crept in so thick you could taste it. Where you looked at your life and thought, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm not special. Maybe this whole chosen one thing is just something I tell myself to cope with being ordinary. You felt foolish for believing, foolish for hoping, foolish for praying when nothing seemed to change. That doubt was heavy, suffocating, convincing. But here's what you need to know. That doubt was the final boss before the victory. That was the universe testing whether you'd quit right before the breakthrough. Because that's what happens to the chosen ones. Right before the miracle, right before the blessing, right before everything changes, there's always one last wave of doubt designed to make you turn back. And most people do. Most people see the darkness before the dawn and assume the sun is never coming. But not you. You kept going. You kept believing even when belief felt like insanity. You kept praying even when the prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling. And because you did, tonight's blessing is yours. The doubt didn't destroy you. It confirmed you. You passed the final test. You know what you've been doing differently lately? You've been guarding your energy like it's sacred. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were never going to understand. You stopped attending events that drained your spirit just to keep up appearances. You stopped answering calls from people who only reached out when they needed something. You started saying no without guilt. You started choosing solitude over fake community. You started protecting your peace like your life depended on it, because it does, and the universe noticed. See, most people leak their energy everywhere. They give it away to arguments that don't matter, to people who don't deserve it, to situations that will never change. But you, chosen one, you learned to plug the leak. You learned to become a container that holds blessings instead of a sieve that lets them slip through. And tonight, that discipline is about to pay off in ways you can't imagine. The miracles you've been praying for can only land in protected space. The blessings you've been calling in can only stay with someone who knows how to keep them. You've become that person. You've become energetically mature, and the universe is about to reward your discernment with abundance that doesn't just come and go, but stays and multiplies. There's a name that still makes your stomach turn, isn't there? A face that still triggers your nervous system. Someone who hurt you so deeply that even years later, the wound feels fresh. They lied on you, stole from you, and betrayed you in ways that changed how you trust. And for a long time, you wanted revenge. You wanted them to feel what you felt. You wanted karma to hit them so hard they'd finally understand the damage they caused. But somewhere along your healing journey, you released them. Not because they deserved forgiveness, but because you deserved freedom. You stopped waiting for their apology. You stopped checking their social media. You stopped letting them occupy rent-free space in your mind. And that release, that surrender, that's when your real power is activated. Tonight, the universe is closing that chapter once and for all. Those enemies aren't going to destroy you. They're going to become proof of God's protection over your life. Years from now, you'll tell your story, and their name will come up, but only as evidence of what you survived. Only as a plot twist in your testimony. Only as a reminder that what the enemy meant for evil, God turned into your greatest comeback. They tried to bury you. They didn't know you were a seed. Let's be honest about the loneliness, not just the lack of a romantic partner, but the soul-deep isolation of not being seen, not being understood, not being met at your level. You've been in rooms full of people and felt completely alone. You've been in relationships and still felt single. You've had conversations where you smiled and nodded, but inside you were screaming because nobody gets it, nobody sees you, nobody can hold the depth of who you really are. You started believing maybe you're too intense, too complicated, too damaged for a real connection. Maybe you're meant to walk this path alone. Maybe intimacy is something other people get to have, but not you. But that's a lie from the pit of hell. The truth is, you've been alone because the love that's meant for you hasn't arrived yet. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're being prepared for something so pure, so aligned, so divinely orchestrated that it requires you to be completely healed first. Tonight marks the beginning of that arrival. The loneliness is ending. The right souls are coming. And when they do, you'll understand why nothing else ever worked. You'll understand why every wrong person had to leave. Because the love you're about to experience doesn't just fill the void. It expands your entire capacity for joy. You've been patient for so long, people started calling it naivety. They said you were waiting for nothing. They said you needed to be more realistic, more practical, more willing to settle. They mocked your faith, called your dreams delusions, and treated your hope like it was a character flaw. And there were moments when you almost believed them. Moments when you looked at your life and thought maybe they're right, maybe I'm chasing fantasies, maybe it's time to lower my expectations and accept what's available instead of waiting for what's possible. But something in you refused to settle. Something in you kept saying, not yet, not this, there's more. And you held on. You stayed faithful when faithfulness looked like foolishness. You stayed hopeful when hope seemed insane. You stayed patient when patience felt like punishment. And tonight, everyone who doubted you, everyone who pitied you, everyone who whispered behind your back about how you're wasting your life waiting for a miracle, they're about to see that miracle manifest. Your blessing isn't coming in private. It's coming in public. It's coming in a way that makes your patience look like prophecy. In a way that makes your faith look like wisdom. In a way that turns every doubter into a witness. You've always known you were different, haven't you? You feel things other people don't feel. You see things other people don't see. You know things you have no logical way of knowing. You've had dreams that came true. You've had intuitions that saved your life. You've walked into rooms and felt the energy shift. You've looked at people and seen past their masks straight into their souls. And for a long time, you hid this. You downplayed it. You tried to be normal because people made you feel weird, too sensitive, too much. They called you paranoid when you were picking up on lies. They called you dramatic when you were sensing danger. They called you crazy when you were literally receiving divine download. So you dimmed your light. You silenced your knowing. You pretended you didn't see what you saw. But tonight, that ends. Your spiritual gifts aren't a burden. They're your birthright. They're the reason you've survived things that would have destroyed anyone else. They're the reason you can see the blessing coming before it arrives. And in this next chapter, those gifts you've been hiding are going to become your greatest asset. People will seek you for your insight. Opportunities will come because of your discernment. Miracles will happen because you finally stopped apologizing for being powerfully, unapologetically intuitive. There's something you've been carrying that was never yours to carry. Shame for someone else's betrayal. Guilt for someone else's addiction. Responsibility for someone else's trauma. You've been walking around feeling dirty because of what was done to you, feeling broken because of how you were treated, feeling defective because of who abandoned you. You've been apologizing for existing, for needing, for wanting basic human decency. And somewhere deep down, you believe the lie that if you were better, smarter, prettier, quieter, louder, more, less, different, then maybe they wouldn't have hurt you. Maybe they would have stayed. Maybe they would have chosen you. But that's not how it works. Their choices were never about you. Their dysfunction was never your fault. Their inability to love you correctly was never evidence of your unworthiness. It was evidence of their brokenness. And tonight, the universe is coming to lift that shame off your shoulders like a heavy coat you've been wearing in the summer heat. You're going to feel lighter, freer, cleaner. You're going to remember who you were before the world told you that you were too much or not enough. You're going to stand in your truth without shrinking, without apologizing, without carrying guilt that belongs to someone else. The shame is not yours. It never was. Remember that job you didn't get? The one you were perfect for, the one you prepared for, the one you prayed about for months? You felt crushed when they chose someone else. You questioned your abilities, your worth, your entire career path, or that relationship that ended right when you thought it was beginning. The person who seemed so right, so aligned, so meant to be, and then suddenly they were gone, leaving you confused and shattered. You cried yourself to sleep, asking God why, begging the universe to make it make sense, wondering what you did to deserve such painful rejection. But here's what you couldn't see then. Those weren't rejections. Those were redirections. That job you didn't get? The company collapsed 6 months later. That person who left? They would have drained your spirit and delayed your destiny by years. That opportunity that fell through? It was making space for something 10 times better. The universe wasn't punishing you with those setbacks. It was protecting you. It was literally saving your life, your sanity, your future. And tonight, you're going to see the evidence. You're going to look back at every closed door and realize there was a cliff behind it. You're going to understand that every no was actually God saying, "Not that, I have something better." Your heartbreak was heaven's protection plan. Close your eyes for a second and remember who you used to be. That younger version of you who was so scared, so lost, so desperate for things to get better. The one who used to pray in the dark, asking for relief, for safety, for someone to see her pain and care. The one who made promises to God, saying, "If you just get me through this, I'll never forget it." The one who dreamed of a life where she felt safe, loved, abundant, and free. The younger you had no idea if those prayers would ever be answered. She just hoped, she just believed, she just kept whispering into the universe, trusting that somewhere, somehow, someone was listening. And tonight, chosen one, she's getting her answer. Every prayer she prayed in fear is being answered in faith. Every tear she cried in darkness is being transformed into joy in the light. Every dream she dreamed when dreaming felt dangerous is becoming a reality. You are living proof that prayers don't expire. You are walking evidence that God doesn't forget. And when this blessing hits tonight, it's not just for who you are now. It's for who you were then. It's for that scared little soul who refused to stop believing. She deserves to see this. She deserves to know she made it. There are people in your past who made the mistake of measuring you by your circumstances instead of your character. They saw you struggling and assumed you were weak. They saw you quiet and assumed you had nothing to say. They saw you as kind and assumed you were stupid. They saw you as patient and assumed you were passive. They looked at your temporary situation and decided that was your permanent identity. They wrote you off, counted you out, dismissed you as irrelevant. And you let them, not because you agreed with them, but because you were too busy building in silence to argue with fools. You didn't need to convince them, you just needed to become, and you did. You transformed yourself in the dark, while they were busy laughing in the light. You leveled up while they stood still. You evolved while they stayed the same, recycling the same patterns, the same gossip, the same small-minded judgment. And tonight, when your blessing manifests, they're going to see exactly who you are. Not who they said you were, not who they needed you to be to feel superior, but who you actually are, untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. And the shock on their faces will be sweeter than any revenge you could have planned. Nobody saw the work you put in. Nobody saw you studying when everyone else was partying. Nobody saw you praying when everyone else was sleeping. Nobody saw you choosing discipline over comfort, growth over convenience, faith over fear. You were consistent in the dark, grinding in silence, building a foundation that nobody could see because it was underground. And there were moments when you wondered if it mattered. Moments when you looked around and saw people getting blessed who didn't work half as hard, who didn't sacrifice half as much, who didn't believe half as deeply. You saw them winning while you were still waiting, and it made you question if consistency even matters, if maybe the universe just picks favorites randomly. But that's not how it works. The universe doesn't reward shortcuts. It rewards depth. It rewards the ones who stay faithful when faith looks foolish. It rewards the ones who keep showing up when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering, when nobody even knows their name. And tonight, all that hidden work is about to become visible. All those private prayers are about to become public testimony. All that consistency in the dark is about to shine so bright in the light that people will ask you how you did it, and you'll smile because you'll know you did it when nobody was looking. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. You got used to the pain, didn't you? You got so accustomed to struggle that peace started feeling foreign, almost suspicious. You became addicted to the familiar ache, the predictable disappointment, the cycle of hoping and hurting. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that suffering was your identity, that if you weren't fighting for your life, you weren't really living. You became comfortable in chaos because at least you knew how to survive it. Joy felt dangerous. Success felt like a setup. Happiness felt like something you'd inevitably lose. So why even reach for it? This is trauma's cruelest trick. It convinces you that pain is home. But tonight, that addiction is breaking. Your nervous system is being rewired. Your spirit is being recalibrated. You're being detoxed from the poison of low expectations and reintroduced to the nourishment of genuine peace. And it's going to feel weird at first. When good things start happening without struggle, you're going to wait for the other shoe to drop. When joy arrives without pain as the price of admission, you're going to question if it's real. But stay with it, trust it. This is what you were always meant to feel. Not the height of surviving hell, but the sustained peace of living in heaven on earth. The addiction to pain is over. Welcome to your new addiction, joy. Forces are working on your behalf that you cannot see. Your ancestors, the ones who survived slavery, war, famine, genocide, oppression, the ones who died before they could see freedom, before they could experience peace, before they could know safety, they're in the spiritual realm right now, moving mountains for you. They're whispering your name in the ears of decision makers. They're clearing paths you didn't even know were blocked. They're opening doors that human hands cannot close and closing doors that human hands cannot open. You think you're doing this alone, but you're not. You're the representative of an entire bloodline of warriors, survivors, prophets, and revolutionaries. Every time you choose faith over fear, you honor them. Every time you break a cycle, you free them. Every time you win, they win through you. Tonight's blessing isn't just coming from the universe. It's coming from the prayers of grandmothers you never met. It's coming from the sacrifices of great-great-grandfathers whose names you don't even know. It's coming from ancestors who are finally getting to see their bloodline prosper, their lineage elevated, their suffering redeemed. You carry their DNA and their dreams. And tonight, those dreams become your reality. The doors that they couldn't open are swinging wide for you. Let me prepare you for something that's coming with this blessing: jealousy. Not yours, theirs. When your life starts changing, when the overflow begins, when the glow becomes undeniable, some people are going to hate it, and they're going to hate you for it. Not because you did anything to them, but because your success is a mirror reflecting their stagnation. Your courage highlights their cowardice. Your faith exposes their doubt. Your transformation reminds them of the work they've been avoiding. They're going to call you lucky, say you changed, and accuse you of thinking you're better than them. They're going to pick apart your blessing, looking for flaws, waiting for you to fail, hoping you'll come back down to their level. And here's what you need to understand. Their jealousy is not a sign that you did something wrong. It's confirmation that you're doing something right. It's evidence that you're walking in purpose, operating in power, living in alignment. Misery loves company, and when you stop being miserable, the company gets uncomfortable. So let them be jealous. Let them talk. Let them watch from a distance while you walk into destiny. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your joy is not up for negotiation. And their inability to celebrate you tells you everything you need to know about whether they belong in your next chapter. Chosen one, we've reached the moment. Tonight isn't just another night where you hope things will change. Tonight is the night when everything does change. All those prayers you whispered in the dark, all those tears you cried alone, all those battles you fought in silence, all those moments where you chose faith over fear, hope over despair, love over bitterness, they were building something in the spiritual realm that's about to manifest in the physical. You've been living by faith, walking by faith, breathing by faith, and tonight, faith becomes sight. The blessing that's coming isn't small. It's not incremental. It's not a slight improvement. It's a complete transformation, a total shift, a divine disruption of everything that's been blocking you. This blessing carries the weight of every delayed promise, every unanswered prayer, every season of waiting. It's coming with interest. It's coming with overflow. It's coming with your name on it, and nobody can intercept it, nobody can block it, nobody can take it from you. The universe has aligned, the angels have been dispatched, your ancestors have cleared the path, and God Himself is orchestrating the delivery. And here's what you need to understand. This blessing isn't just about receiving. It's about becoming. You're not just getting something tonight. You're becoming someone tonight. The person who walks into this blessing is not the same person who's been waiting for it. You've been refined, purified, strengthened, and matured through the process. You've been trained in the wilderness so you can reign in the palace. You've been tested in the darkness so you can shine in the light. You've been broken down so you can be built up into something unshakable, unmovable, unstoppable. This blessing is yours because you're finally ready to carry it without losing yourself, without forgetting where you came from, without abandoning the people who are still fighting the battles you've already won. So tonight, prepare your spirit, quiet your mind, open your heart, release the anxiety, the doubt, the fear that this is too good to be true. It's not. This is exactly what you've been promised. This is exactly what you've been working toward. This is exactly what you deserve. Don't shrink back now. Don't second-guess yourself now. Don't let the enemy whisper lies about your worthiness at the very moment your blessing is landing. You are ready. You are worthy. You are chosen. And what's coming for you tonight is undeniable, unstoppable, and absolutely divine. The final word: you are not alone in this mission. If this message resonated with your spirit, if you felt every word in your bones, if you know without a doubt that you are the chosen one this was meant for, then you're part of something bigger than yourself. You're part of a tribe of warriors, a community of believers, a family of overcomers who are walking this path together. We're not just watching videos, we're building a movement of people who refuse to give up, who choose faith over fear, who know that our stories aren't over yet. So here's what I need you to do. Hit that like button right now, not for me, but as a declaration to the universe that you receive this word, that you agree with this blessing, that you're ready for what's coming. Leave a comment below and just type, "I am chosen," so we can see who's in this family, so we can witness each other's faith, so we can stand together as proof that we're not walking alone. And subscribe to this channel, because your breakthrough isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. And I'm going to be here every single day, reminding you of who you are, speaking life over your situation, and confirming what God has already spoken over you. You are chosen, you are protected, you are blessed beyond measure, and tonight everything changes. Now go prepare your spirit for the miracle that's already on its way. Amen.